Hi everyone, so this is my first video where I'm actually talking in it and I'm feeling a little nervous, so I do apologise in advance if I waffle on a little or I get a little tongue-tied. So I wanted to do a quick video to speak to you all about what to do with red rubber stamps. A lot of people get a little scared when they receive them because they don't know what to do with them, especially when they have multiple stamps on, like this one. It's really simple. So you might receive your stamps either like this, just plain red rubber unmounted, or like this, slightly mounted. You'll have to excuse this one. As you can see, I've already used part of this one and already snipped it apart, but I will show you what to do with it. So this is mounted onto a grey foam. I prefer them like this because it cushions them a little bit when you're stamping, so you get a much better impression. But you can use them unmounted and I'll show you how. So first of all, I'm going to show you what to do with standard red rubber. We're literally just going to cut them up, and you're going to want to cut them as close as you can. I'm not going to cut them all out today because I'm pretty sure you'll get the gist of how to do it. So I'll just start by snipping a few out. You want to cut as close as you can to the actual image. You could cut them out roughly to start with and then go in slightly more detail in a minute. Ideally you want a pair of fairly small scissors. You don't want to be quite sort of, you want a nice close snip to the rubber stamp, and you don't really want to be using big chunky scissors. Right, as you can see, I'm going to go in a little bit closer now. I'm just going to show you with these two stamps. So as you can see, they're cut fairly closely to the image. Now you can either use them like this, and you can just use a glue stick and stick them onto your acrylic block like that. So you'll get a really good impression just like that. Or I'm going to just clean this off now and give it a little dry. Or you can then mount these. So in order to mount them, I'm going to be using this Stix 2 foam mount. It's really not that expensive, so it's worth getting them. I think I prefer them I prefer them all mounted, but like I said, some people do use them unmounted. As I've already started on a sheet here, I'm going to use this, so I just peel it off. As you can see, it's fairly sticky. So I'll pop them on there. Try and pop them as close as you can, so you don't waste too much of it. And then what I'm going to do, you can use scissors to cut this out, but I prefer to use a craft knife. So I'm just going to pop my glass mat down. Sorry about the noise. Take my craft knife and just carefully run round. I should have really taken off the plastic backing before I cut them out, but I forgot to do that bit. But as you can see, they're now mounted, and you can now place them direct onto your acrylic block and stamp them like this. So you might also receive your stamps mounted onto grey and rubber already. This can be a little trickier to cut out, as you have to angle your scissors in the correct position so you don't cut too much of the foam away from the back. So just angle them slightly into the image and then snip away. closer you snip to the stamp, the better really, because sometimes when you're inking it up, you can get all the ink in these recessed bits, and it can leave like a halo around the image, which you don't particularly want. So obviously any bits that hasn't got part of the stamp on, just get rid of. But that's what you do. So it's quite straightforward. You might find that there's a few stamps that, like words and things, where you can't always see where they are, and they're not as easy to line up. I tend to draw on the backs of mine, so I'll show you with, I have this stamp set, 464 from Crafty Individuals, and I absolutely love the font on this. They're nice size stamps too. Like I said, they can sometimes be a little difficult to position and get straight if you're stamping direct onto your card. So I don't know if you can see here, but I've done some little lines on the edges of the stamp to coincide with the bottom of the writing, and then I've just lined them up at the back. So when you stick them on your stamp, your acrylic block, you can just line it up quite easily, and then you should get a nice straight stamped image at the end of it. I've done that on most of my word stamps. It just makes life a little bit easier. Anyway, I hope this has helped a few of you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for joining me. Bye.